Hello, my name is Doyle Sapp. I serve as the superintendent of Richmond National Battlefield Park and Maggie L. Walker National Historic Site, Richmond's National Parks. I'd like to welcome you to the commemoration of the anniversary of the 1864 Battle of Cold Harbor. Now, it's an understatement that for the last year, we've been living in tumultuous times, a watershed year in American history. I can't say that it's an unprecedented time, as we've lived through many watershed years throughout our existence as a nation. 1864 could be said to be one of those years. Thousands of Americans are dead in a struggle to define what the United States is and what form our nation will take in the world. In the third year of America's Civil War, from May till June, two armies fought almost continuously for 30 days until it reached this field. From the Wilderness and Spotsylvania Courthouse to the North Anna River, Totopotomoy Creek, and finally the crossroads at Cold Harbor Tavern. The battle for this intersection lasted 13 days and resulted in 18,000 people killed, wounded, or captured. This filmed presentation invites you to imagine yourself in the area around Richmond, Virginia at the time of the battle. Guided by a Civil War newspaper reporter, you'll be shown a series of short vignettes, conversations, if you will, between soldiers, citizens, men and women, enslaved and free. You'll meet people with different perspectives on this battle, this war, and what it means for their future and the future of America. The scenes you will see are based in fact. Many of the people you will hear from really existed, and their true stories are depicted here. Their points of view are varied. By traveling to both sides of the battle lines, you will find that by 1864, war-weary armies were reaching the limits of human endurance. Citizens, North and South, looked to the battlefields in Virginia for decisive results and for an answer to the biggest questions brought on by the Civil War. Will this nation fall, a house divided, or will it long endure, now that where an army of emancipation marches, freedom follows? We invite you to follow them, hear their stories, and use your imagination to make yourself a witness to history.
Oh, good evening. It's great to see you and nice to meet you. You know me, of course. I am Nathan. I am your favorite newspaper reporter. I write for the Richmond Examiner all the latest news of the Civil War. I'm glad you could join me tonight because I have a new idea for a story, and that story involves you. You see, I've gotten special permission to go down to the front lines, to the scene of where a big battle just happened. I would like to take you with me. What I'm interested in is what regular people like you think about this war and about this battle. I would like to have you accompany me. We're going to go and see some scenes and some people associated with this Battle of Cold Harbor, and then you can tell me what you think of the Civil War as it's happening. If you're interested, I'd love for you to come along with me. We can start our journey right now. Before we go out to the battlefield, there's a couple of people right here in town that I'd like you to meet. One of them is a congressman, and the other is a military leader. The two of them are getting together because each of them has some ideas how the other one might be able to help them out. Let's see what they've got to say.
Good day, sir.
Good day, Colonel. Thank you for taking the time to meet me.
An honor.
I know that you're busy in the field with your army. I understand you just came from a big battle.
Hard to know where a battle ends and the next one begins these days. We started fighting May 5th. And since that time, we've been fighting every day or running to the next fight.
Well, thank you for taking your time to come see me in Richmond. It is important to me and those that I work for that we hear the opinions of the officers and men of the Army.
Fortunately, it was a short trip. The armies are dug in just 10 miles from here. I should be able to make it back before dinner time.
So what is the situation of the troops at Cold Harbor?
It looks like they outnumber us just about 2 to 1, but that's nothing unusual.
We have not had the same matching numbers since the original Conscription Act, where we put every white male in the ranks between the ages of 18 and 35.
And many were not happy about that.
We are all asked to make sacrifices, Colonel, in hopes to bring this war to a swifter close.
And here we are 2 years later. And we've lost a lot of those men. Gaines's Mill, Sharpsburg, Fredericksburg, Chancellorsville, Gettysburg. The list goes on.
Yes, it does. I had a constituent write me and said that we are being conquered by the splendor of our own victories.
That's about right.
With this new campaign begun, we are going to have to make some adjustments, certainly. And of course, we did have a conscription act passed where we are putting now everyone between 17 and 50 into the field. Will that not suffice for the armies?
Are you going to address any of the defects in the original conscription act? Wealthy men have been able to pay substitutes to take their place.
This practice is disallowed, yes.
And the other side has draftees now too, as well as immigrants from all over. My men tell me that they're seeing black soldiers across those battlefields for the first time. Isn't it possible to compel the big plantation men and the factory workers to join the fight?
The exemption from service for those that own 20 or more slaves was debated, but allowed to continue.
Some of my men, not myself, mind you, but some in the ranks grumble that this war is being fought by the poor for the benefit of the rich.
I understand. At this point, I'd be robbing Peter to pay Paul if I took the factory workers out of their jobs and the overseers out of the fields. Which do you need more, soldiers on the battlefield or food and guns? But you could take some of your men to the mountains, rustle up the deserters and bring them back to the army. You can compel them to do that, I believe.
And how many of my outnumbered men who are barely keeping Grant's army at bay 10 miles from here, how many of them would you have me send out to hunt them down? How about prisoner exchanges? Isn't there a way to get some of our captured men back?
No, Grant still refuses to budge. No prisoner exchanges. We're responsible for all the Yankees in our care, and we're getting none of ours back for the foreseeable future. I hate having so many of them here in the city. I have to take men from your command to guard them, and I'm convinced there are forces here in the city working against us. Union sympathizers right here in Richmond.
Well, sir, I can't help you there. I just don't know how to contend with fighters that aren't soldiers.
Well, this is my problem, not yours. We will have to make do with what we have, I suppose.
As we always have.
But how much longer do you think you can do it?
There was a big battle just a few days ago on June 3rd. And since then, the armies have basically stayed put. They dug themselves into trenches, and now they're just right across that field, kind of looking at each other, waiting to see what the generals are going to tell them to do next.
Come on out from behind that tree, Johnny.
Y'all ain't gonna shoot me, are you?
I won't shoot if you won't.
You promise?
I'll promise if you promise.
You don't look so scary up close.
And without my musket, I'm just a blacksmith from Pennsylvania.
I'm just a fellow from Virginia.
Well, Virginia, you want to come over to our side?
Heck no. I ain't no deserter. I did go home a couple times just to help with the planting, but I always come back.
So they just issued General Order 64. Says any of you fellas come over to our side and take the oath, you get a free ticket ride up to Philadelphia. Or you can join the army, head out to the western frontier. You don't even have to shoot another Southern man.
Nah, who would I know in Philadelphia? Why don't you come on over this side?
Not me, friend. My 3 years is almost up. I've got 1 month left to go before I get to go home.
They let y'all leave the army? That sure is nice.
So how long have you been in?
I signed up for 3 years, but with this new conscription act we got, looks like I'll be in the army until they decide otherwise.
Well, we got some real patriots in my company. Half of them are re-up for another 3 years.
Most of the guys in my company joined up because they knew there was somebody else joining up, and then the rest were just too ashamed not to.
I don't really know why I enlisted. I didn't really think and consider what it was like to be a soldier in the Army.
Heard you got a big election coming up, and they're going to let the soldiers in the field vote.
That's right. That's right. Old Abe Lincoln's going for his second term against George McClellan, who is our former general. He was actually in command of the Army, and we were right over there at Gaines Mill.
Wow, I was just over there at a Watt House at the same time. Boy, a lot can change in 2 years.
It sure can. I wasn't so sure about old Abe back in those days, but I think this year he's going to get my vote.
Can't say I'd vote for an abolitionist.
Hey! What in the world are you men doing there? Get back in those trenches! Do it now! That's an order! You got about 60 seconds before I give the order to start shooting!
Well, Johnny, I think this truce is just about expired.
Well, till next time then.
All right, you take care.
You too. Watch out, Billy Yank. I'm fixing to shoot.
You take care, Johnny Reb. Keep your head out of the way of my bullet.
Some people in Richmond still support the Union, and now they've got a pretty difficult choice to make. See, there's a new law that says that every white man in the South has got to be in the Army, whether they want to or not. Now, John over there, he doesn't want to fight for the Confederacy, and that means that he's going to have to cross from one side of this battlefield to the other one if he wants to escape to the north and stay out of the war. Let's see what we think of his journey.
Halt! Hold it! Don't shoot! I'm a friend.
Wait a minute. We don't get many friends from your direction. Hands up. Who are you? What's your business?
Well, my name is John.
Are you lost?
Oh, no, sir. I'm right here where I'd like to be.
Where's that exactly?
Well, anywhere north of here would be just fine, honestly.
What's your business?
Well, I've come here to see General Grant, if I may.
General Grant? General Ulysses Grant.
Yes, sir, that's right. Ulysses S. Grant, that's the one.
General Grant, commanding general of all the United States armies and all the theaters of war. You just want to stroll up and talk to General Grant?
Yeah, if it's not too much trouble, if you wouldn't mind sending the general word. It is getting to be a little bit late, so you may need to waken.
Okay, hey, take this up the chain of command. Tell them that John is here to see the general. Yeah, I'll run him through if he tries to escape. Are you a soldier? You're not in uniform.
Well, in a manner of speaking.
Are you a rebel deserter?
Oh, no, sir, I'm no rebel, not even a little bit. Now, Jeff Davis was kind enough to extend me an invitation to serve in the Confederate Army, but I politely declined that invitation.
Oh, you can do that?
Well, not exactly. You see, 2 years ago, the Draft Act stated that all men that were ages 18 through 35 had to serve, whether you wanted to or not. At that time, I was 36, therefore exempt from serving. Well, I went back to working in my family's hardware store, and now 2 years later, this spring, I find myself working in a mostly empty store. With most men in the ranks, there's no one left behind to manufacture anything. And on top of all that, they changed the draft law to where all men ages 17 through 50 have to serve. That makes me eligible again. I am not interested in taking up arms against the United States, and so I left.
Well, wasn't there a way to get out of it? Up in New York, you can buy your way out. You can purchase a substitute.
Well, I surely would try that, but they got rid of that policy down here this year as well. Now, I don't suppose up in New York they have a policy that lets you get out of serving by owning 20 or more slaves, do they?
Heck no. And I suppose you're too poor to do that.
Well, not exactly. My father did own several slaves, but when he died, my mother, his sister, and I freed them all.
Why's that?
Well, have you ever met a slave?
No.
Have you ever been to a slave auction?
No.
Well, I have. I've seen these people led through the streets in chains, brought up to an auction block where they're sold like cattle, their families are broken up, and it's awful. There's no way I could continue to live with myself, knowing that it was within my power to grant these people their freedom. Now, whatever my father may have done and all those that came before him, however we inherited this system,
I will not be compelled to defend it with my life, and so I left. Now, furthermore, you'll find if you reach Richmond that there's other people in Richmond that are Union sympathizers as well. Now, they're forced to keep quiet right now for their own safety, but should you make it there, you'll find them.
Well, we're planning to be there. Yeah, so up in New York, there was a draft riot last year. Over 100 men died, and that was just because they were selecting some of the men. Now, in the South, you're saying everybody's facing the draft?
That's right, whether you care to or not. You and your buddy over there, were you fellas drafted?
Heck no, we're volunteers. We're proud to serve.
Well, that's great that you boys had a choice. Once they changed the draft law, the only choice that was left to me was to leave my wife and my children behind, and I'm trying to make my way up to Philadelphia.
Well, so here you are now.
Send that man over here. Now.
What? Why?
General Grant wants to see him. Now.
You're kidding.
No, Grant and Meade are both right back there, and they want to talk to him right now.
Fella, who are you?
Oh, me? I'm nobody of importance, but my sister, on the other hand, is Elizabeth Van Lew. She's the leader of a Union spy ring in Richmond, and several times a week she sends to your good general all the latest news from the Confederate capital and information about fortifications and troop movements. The war is over for me, but she's staying behind to fight the Confederacy from the inside.
Well, God bless you and your sister, and good luck on your journey.
Well, I wish you boys the very best in making your way over to Richmond as well. It's just over that way a piece. If you get there, send my sister my love. Her house will be the big one on Churchill, and as soon as she's able to raise it, there will be a large American flag there, which I'm sure will stand out.
Go ahead, pass through.
We're pretty far out now. We're so far out, I think, that we might even be able to see what some of the Union Army is up to. Way out here, we might be able to see what some of the wagon drivers who keep the Union Army supplied are saying about the battle. We might also see some of the soldiers who are guarding those supply wagons, see what they think about being so far away from the fighting.
Thank you for standing guard, son. Happy to do it, I am. I'd rather be in the fight. I don't know what you all are complaining about. They got us back here in the rear, don't they? Safest place there is.
And who says I want to be safe?
I signed up for this army to beat the rebel army, didn't I? I wanted to fight against slavery even before there was a war. For years I waited.
Then the war came. I wanted to be a soldier. For years, I waited for them to let black men into the army. By God, they let us. They finally let us. But what use? What use is even being in the army if they aren't going to use us? I mean, anybody can dig a trench or guard a wagon.
Well, son, you sure in a hurry to get shot at, ain't you? You know, these wagons, they gotta be guarded too. And I'm gonna be up half the night unloading these bread boxes. The wagon train's 5 miles long. Come morning, we're gonna be driving back to the depot and filling them up again. There'll be a lot of food around here. And I hear tell them Rebs out there have been starving for a while now, so what you reckon they wouldn't give to get their hands on these eats?
But we've got enough other men for that kind of work. I mean, look at the size of this army. I read in the paper that on the other side, they're making every white man from 17 to 50 get pressed into Confederate service. Look at us. We've got a draft, and our army is otherwise full of volunteers, immigrants from other countries, and thousands of black men eager to take the fight to them. Rebels just have one source of men. Adult white men. Well, the blockade means they get no immigrants. And it'll be a cold day before they let black men in the army as anything other than slaves.
I mean, surely they can let me get some fighting done before it's all over.
Still plenty of fighting left to do. And that's a hard thing to imagine, ain't it? After what happened here 2 days ago. After that slaughter. No other word for it. God-awful slaughter. Did you see any of that?
No.
Yeah, well, I did. How can an army come back from a drubbing like that, I ask you? How can men get bloodied the way our boys got bloodied and come back from it? And you say you want to fight. Well, last night I overheard 2 officers talking. I heard them say that we still got hundreds of our boys laying out in front of them Reb trenches. Thousands, maybe. They're dead. Oh, bloated up because of the heat, stinking to high heaven. No way to get out to them, see? No way to get to them and bring them off the field and give them a decent burial. So the dang Rebs keep popping away at anything that moves out there. Because that's what war is. You say you want to fight? Well, take a deep breath, why don't you? Go on and fill your lungs with that stench, son, because that's what comes of it. I declare, before 1862, I never thought human beings could treat each other this way. I was sure wrong. Now I expect you're going to get your share of fighting. Them fellers last night, they allowed old Grant may even order another attack. That's what I heard him say. And that wouldn't surprise me at all. Seems to be a whole lot going on in these woods tonight. You notice it? A lot of feet tramping through here. A lot of horses pulling guns through these woods. No, I think something's coming. And I tell you this, it's gonna be the devil to pay when it does.
You said you didn't think human beings could do this to each other.
You heard that General Grant stopped the prisoner exchanges, right?
I did indeed.
You ever stop to think why?
Well, I reckon it's like what you just said. More of us than it is of them. And the more of them we keep out of the fight, well, it'll be harder on them than it ever will be on us. Even if that does mean a hard go for our boys already in them Red prisons.
Yeah, I suppose that's true too. But Jeff Davis issued a proclamation.
He said, because we're here, he said, any black Yankee soldier, we get caught, we won't be treated as prisoners. No exchanges for us. They'll just call us slaves, put us into bondage forever. That's what human beings can do to each other. And Grant, he said, you treat every American soldier as a soldier, or you'll get none of yours back. Now, I want to fight. Even knowing that. Maybe especially knowing that.
And knowing that because of the Emancipation Proclamation that Lincoln issued, everywhere this army steps, freedom follows along with it. I know everybody ain't free yet, but I hope they will be one day.
Well, son, I think I see what you're driving at now. If anybody's got a stake in this fight, I reckon it's you. Which reminds me, I've got something in my poke here that you might find right interesting. Newspaper I picked up on the way down here through one of them old towns we rolled through. Talking about the doings up in Washington City. Looks like Congress is fixing to change the Constitution. Put in another one of them amendments. This one's going to be what number 13 looks like. But son, according to this here paper, if this thing passes, it means the end of slavery. Everywhere.
Remarkable.
Remarkable. Yeah, I know the president's proclamation, well, it allows us to liberate enslaved folk we come across by the army, but if Lincoln loses re-election, I mean, that all just goes away. This, an amendment, that's forever. This makes what we're doing here even more important. It said that the Senate has passed it, that the House of Representatives, if they pass it next week, Lincoln will sign it into law. Now we've got to win this war. We've got to. Every box of bread that you carry, every inch of ground that we gain, that's one step closer to freedom for everyone. 4 million people. It's 10 miles to Richmond. Just 10 miles. And if we can get there, it'll all be over. They're all free. They're waiting for us out there. Oh, they're waiting. And we're so close. If we get to them, that's it. I will get to them. I will fight to get to them.
And so, well, son, if fighting's truly what you want to do, then God bless you for it. And all the luck I can wish for you, too. Well, now, these old bread boxes ain't gonna unload themselves. Still got them mules to hobble, so just remember to keep your head down, son.
On our way back home, let's tag along here with Jane. She's come all the way out here looking for food to feed her family. It's getting harder and harder to find. She took a big risk doing it though, coming out all this way. Now she's gonna have to come back through the lines of soldiers to get back home. It might not be so easy to find a safe way back.
Ho!
Oh, please, I'm just passing through.
Ma'am, what are you doing out here? Don't you know it's dangerous to be walking on these roads? You could get yourself shot.
I was safe at home with Mother and the children. We went into the basement while both armies passed by, and we stayed there until the guns grew quiet, but it's been days and the armies are still out there.
Yes, ma'am, I know. We're kind of both stuck where we are right now.
Well, we didn't have much food to speak of to begin with. 2 years ago when they had the battle here, they destroyed all the crops, and with a bad harvest and the men going off to fight, now the government's coming and taking most of what we have left. I had some friends down the road that said that they might have some crackers they could share. And so I just went to go get some food for Mother and the children, and I'm just trying to get home to them.
Ma'am, I sympathize, but we can't just have people walking up and down the roads out here. I've got orders. My sergeant ordered me. We've got to keep these roads clear. It's not safe for you, ma'am.
Surely he meant soldiers, not just a poor woman with a box of crackers.
I don't know what he meant, ma'am.
But what am I to do? Just wait in this road until you all decide to go? When will that be? You've been here less than a week and you've stripped all the farms bare. Y'all eat everything in sight.
Yes, ma'am. I know, but it's hard. It's hard to feed all of these men. Do you even have any idea how much food 100,000 men eat every day?
No, I don't, but I only know how hard it is to feed my own family, and I'm just trying to get home to feed them.
Well, is your home close by?
Yes, it's a mile down the road. I'm from here. I know the way.
Just a mile?
Yes, it is. Where are you from? I have some friends from Philadelphia. I thought I'd see if you knew them.
No, ma'am. I'm from Indiana. well, maybe I shouldn't say any more than that.
Oh, what could the harm be in making friendly conversation?
Ma'am, it's hard to tell who's friend or foe anymore. I mean, those fellows across the way there in the gray uniforms with the rifles, it's easy to tell because they're shooting at us most of the time. But when I see an older gentleman or a young boy or you know, a lady like yourself come along, I have no way of knowing whether you're friend or foe or not, ma'am. It's really hard not to know whether a friendly face is actually friendly.
How silly. What harm could I possibly do to you?
Well, ma'am, I guess it'll be all right. Is your home near here?
Yes, it's just a mile down the road.
Okay. All right. I guess it'll be okay. You go home and take care of the little ones, and here's some extra food for you.
Oh, thank you so much. I promise I'll stay out of trouble from here on out. I hope you don't think that I breached good manners or propriety by telling my neighbor what I saw on my journey. He's too old to serve in the Army, but he has friends in the War Department in Richmond. And so I told him where I saw the soldiers and where I was stopped, and the soldier who stopped me where he was from. I don't know if it'll be of any help, but maybe they'll give it to General Lee and it'll help him somehow. I was actually going to my neighbor to get crackers. That was true, but I thought, even though I'm not in the Army, everyone has to help if they can, and since I had this information, I should share it. The war is affecting all of us. We're all suffering, and so we should all do our part to help our country.
Well, we made it back. Thanks for coming on this journey with me. My readers would really like to know what you think of what you saw here tonight. So I'd really like to hear your comments. So what I'd love you to do is just write them up, maybe type them, and then send them to me in the post. So post your comments, and then they'll show up on my page. I'm really eager to hear what you have to say about what you saw here. Thank you. Good night, and everybody stay safe out there.
Thank you for joining us for this presentation of Freedom Follows. We hope these perspectives will help you better understand not only the Battle of Cold Harbor and its place in American history, but how the experience of the past still shapes our lives today. The people who met on this field in 1864 considered the most fundamental questions of our nation's history. What does it mean to be free? And what does that freedom mean to everyone? I hope seeing these historical experiences will help you consider these questions as they arise today. Thank you, and good night.
The snow is on the grass again. The sun